Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Horror Master YouTube channel. Welcome back to day number 22. Holy mother of God, 22 episodes. Like I said, it seems amazing that I've been taking this huge undertaking. Who would have thought? From all the way from episode 1 from Child's Play to right now to episode number 22. The reception of this series has been amazing, and I thank you guys so much for watching all my videos, for liking my videos, for commenting on my videos. I seriously appreciate you guys for all the support you guys have given me. And there's been a couple of days that I've been kind of almost wanted to end the series, but you guys have motivated me so much to keep continuing doing the series until the very end, in which I appreciate you guys so much. And we're almost there to the 60 subscriber mark, which maybe by the time this video goes already on the air, it might already be 60 subscribers, maybe more. But if you guys, I would really appreciate if you hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell for 60 subscribers. Hopefully, we can get more than that. Hopefully, my goal right now is probably to get to at least 100 subscribers by the end of the year. But let's see what happens. But that enough the jab. Let's get into today's topic of discussion for episode number 22. We're going to be tackling a franchise that a lot of people like myself, grew up loving and eventually hating because of the later films. Of course, I'm talking about Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers Creepers. Where'd you get those weepers? A franchise that a lot of people, like I mentioned before, one of those franchises that if you're a horror fan that was born in the 90s, grew up in the 2000s, love, and I love the first couple of films, and then the latter films were kind of like meh. But the Creeper's one of those iconic, has become one of those new iconic figures in horror because the Creeper's a figure that you don't know if it's a demon, you know it's a vampire, you don't know if it's probably an agglomeration of a lot of things that we throughout history have thought maybe the chupacabra or maybe he is, I don't know, something else. So it's a creature that we don't know what it is to this day, which kind of keeps that kind of mystique of the creeper going around. But let's see what happens. But we have 4 films to talk about this franchise. Again, a bit of a shorter franchise this time, but let's get into the film. So at my number 4, at the bottom of the barrel, we have Jeepers Creepers Reborn. This is the latest installment in the Jeepers Creepers franchise, and this is a reboot to the franchise. And the thing about this film that really kind of made me put it at the bottom was they kind of took the stuff that worked in the previous Jeepers Creepers films, but for some reason that it didn't really translate into the film. Because I felt that this film was a really, and I mean really, really bad reboot. And I've talked about my fair share of reboots, and some reboots help the franchise get more of a fan variety. And in this case, Reborn kind of went the opposite way. It went the Nightmare on Elm 2009 way and kind of detracted more fans to be like, nah, I'm not gonna watch this fucking franchise because of that bullshit. So I felt that the acting wasn't on point. I felt that the creeper wasn't as mysterious, wasn't as um motherfucking crazy as the films that we're talking about later on in the list. But something about this film just doesn't sit right with me. Maybe it's because I've enjoyed the early films and I still have that kind of mentality that I want that creeper to translate into that film. But as a new reboot, it's kind of a bit of a weak reboot. I think I've read somewhere that they're gonna make probably 2 to 3 more films, and I hope that the next 2 to 3 films might be even better than this reboot. Which, like I said, even though a reboot fucking sucks, I'm not one of those people that's gonna continue not to fucking watch it. Even though sometimes I might say that, but I'm always appreciated that they did create another film that kind of makes it for what this one did. It would be kind of better for the franchise and get those fans back. And who knows? Maybe Jeepers Creepers Reborn down the road, maybe 5 years, 10 years from now, might be regarded as a modern day classic or whatever. So for those reasons, Jeepers Creepers Reborn is at my number 4. At number 3, we have Jeepers Creepers 3. Now, Jeepers Creepers 3 gets this reputation because this film takes place between the events of Part 1 and Part 2, which which boggles my mind because for a lot of older fans like myself, after the events of Jeepers Creepers 2, we thought Jeepers Creepers 3 was gonna continue that story. But it took them close to 10 to 15 years for Jeepers Creepers 3 to come to life and to find out that it happens during the events of Part 1 and Part 2, which kind of pissed off a lot of fans. Don't get me wrong, it kind of pissed me off too, but not to the point that I'm not gonna fucking watch this film and protest and all that. I saw the film, didn't enjoy it as much. Has a bit more memorable, not the most memorable kills in this original timeline. I thought the creeper wasn't as creep as he usually was in the previous films. I feel that mystique of the creep kind of went away. Then again, it took them close to 10 to 15 years to continue this timeline, which again they should have continued after the events of Jeepers Creepers 2. What would happen later 4, but they kind of went the easy route and did the events of what happened between part 1 and part 2, which it's a hit and miss for me. But Jeepers Creepers 3, and I know a lot of people, I think some of my friends even told me that they didn't want to watch the film because of obvious reasons. But this film, it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be watching this film. Because I remember when I first watched this film, I absolutely hated the living crap out of it. I was one of those people that was like, no, no, it's not as good as the other two previous films. Which it's still not, but at least I can appreciate what they were trying to do at the time, which again, art is subjective. Some people might like it, some people might fucking hate it. It all depends. I'm one of those people that's kind of in the middle. I don't really hate it, I don't really like it. I just like to watch it just sometimes for the hell of it for this franchise. But it's a film that I might suggest anybody just to see it as a curiosity. Now we're going to the top two. Now the top two films are the two films that are beloved, and I mean beloved by Jeepers Creepers fans, older Jeepers Creepers fans like myself, or even the brand new Jeepers Creepers fan might actually enjoy these next two following films. It all depends on which side of the coin you're more into. You can either go the first film or the second film. It all depends, and it's always difficult for me when these two films are so good. Like they're so good that it's one of those it's one of the few franchises where the first two films are one of the best films in the entire franchise. But it was kind of difficult to me to kind of figure out which one's going to be at the top and which one's going to be at number two. And my list can change automatically from today to tomorrow to a year from now, 5 years from now. It all depends. But for right now, at the moment, at my number two, we have Jeepers Creepers 2. I like the idea that Jeepers Creepers 2 takes place in just one setting when you have the creep stalking these high school students in a bus, and he starts killing one by one. And during that little side of the story, we have this farmer who is trying to chase the creeper because the creeper kidnapped his son and flew off into the sunset, and God knows what he did. Of course, we have a pretty idea what he did, of course, with into part one. And of course, this farmer is trying to capture the creep, and trying to kill it once and for all. While that's happening, like I said, the whole thing with the high school students at the bus, he's eating and destroying them one by one. He's trying to sniff them, which one's going to be his next victim. And I like it when he's sniffing all of them, and he's like they all moving one by one until they get to the black guy, and he just gives him a look and just sticks out his tongue to the window, like almost saying like "You're mine, bitch." Which again, for a lot of people, Jeepers Creepers 2, it might be even better than Jeepers Creepers 1, which is true. Jeepers Creepers 2 is one of those films, pretty much, Jeepers Creepers 2 follows in this small category, like Child's Play 2, where the sequel is even better than the original film, the previous film. So, Jeepers Creepers 2 has this idea that, at the time, was mind-boggling and appreciated, and to this day, it's still appreciated. I mean, to the point that I'm even fucking talking about Jeepers Creepers 2 in the 2022. Like, come on, it's been close to 10 to 15 years and this film fucking came out, and it's still fucking amazing. And like I said, the design of the creep, of course, they had a couple CGI events. Of course, the majority of this franchise had a couple CGI events, but the makeup, the effects of the creep were so unique and so out there. Like I said, you didn't know if he's a vampire, he's a demon, a chupacabra. You don't know what the fuck this fucking guy or thing is. So, Jeepers Creepers 2 has been beloved by fans, and for those reasons, Jeepers Creepers 2 is at my number 2. And of course, at number 1, we have the original Jeepers Creepers. Everything I said about Jeepers Creepers 2 applies to Jeepers Creepers 1. But the idea that Jeepers Creepers 1 has is that this brother and sister are on the road trying to go back home. They take this going into the back street of America. They're going down the road, and then they come up this weird looking van, which you can almost say the van also is a character in the film because it has like a different vibe of its own, and then this van is chasing them. It's kind of going back and forth to the point that when the brothers go into this abandoned church, and the brother, I think it was played by Justin Long, if I remember correctly, goes inside the church or falls to the church and sees all the bodies, all the bones, all the blood, creeps him the fuck out and tries to escape. And of course, the brothers try to escape, but it's already too late because the creep has already gotten their scent. He's trying to chase them, and he's trying to see who is gonna be his next victim. Which we later find out is the brother, which we all thought was gonna be the sister because of the things that they were hinting throughout the entire of the film. Not only that, you also got this side character, which is the I think like a sidekick who sees into the future what the events of one of them is gonna be brutally killed, and is gonna get his last gasp of life. Which we eventually found out that it was the brother, which the creeper took and just flew into the moonlight. And I like the police station scene so much because we can actually get the creep in all his infamous glory, from the wings to the fucking spikes he has in his head. Like I said, the creep as a modern day horror icon, the makeup about it is so fucking amazing. And I'm like, dude, I'm just imagining the guy who had to set throughout the entire makeup. I mean, he must have been like fucking exhausted 4 to 5 hours on that makeup. It's fucking amazing. A fucking trooper for that. But Jeepers Creepers 1, again, beloved by fans. I mean, to the point, like I said, it's been close to 15, 16, 17 years since these two films came out, and they're still beloved by fans. Jeepers Creepers 1 has impacted so much to the horror movie community that is to this day talked about. Like I said, having it at my number one. So for those reasons, Jeepers Creepers 1 is at my number one. And that does it for this video, guys. I hope you guys really enjoy this ranking. Well, like I said, we're almost close to the end, which unfortunately, nothing lasts forever. But we're having a blast throughout the entire series. So, like I said before, hope you guys are really enjoying this video. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video for episode number 23. We're gonna be tackling the Hills Have Eyes franchise. Yes, another odd franchise. Like I said, this whole series have been trying to tackle some of the most franchise that you might know, some of the franchises you might not expect, and some curveballs that I might throw there and there. So stay tuned for tomorrow's video for the Hills Have Eyes. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do that shit bang. Don't forget to follow me on my Instagram. Don't forget to follow me on my Twitter. And like I said, guys, if you guys really enjoy the videos, stay safe, everyone. And until next time, stay metal.